Alright, what's up guys? So today I'm going to share my journey and how I lost 20 pounds in 14 weeks. And what I actually did to get there. Let's be honest. Losing weight is one of those things that most of us have desired at one point or another in our life. But why is it so hard to do? And what am I supposed to do in order to get there? I decided I want to share my approach to this problem and the things I learned along the way. First, let's go over the 3 steps I took before embarking on my journey. Step 1. Diet is king. There's an old saying in fitness, you can't outwork a bad diet, and I believe it. It doesn't matter how good your workout plan is if you don't keep your diet in check. There are no superfoods, magical weight loss tricks, secret diets, or detox drinks that will lead to a sustainable weight loss. The answer is much more boring. You lose fat when you're in a caloric deficit, no more, no less. It's just that simple. In order to find out how much food I can eat and lose weight, we need to calculate what my maintenance calories will be. This is the amount of calories you can eat daily where your body weight stays roughly the same. In order to do this, multiply your body weight in pounds by 14 to 16. 14 if you're not very active, 15 if you're in the middle or unsure, and 16 if you are very active. This will give us a good ballpark figure on what to work with. I am a very active person, but I work a sedentary office job, so I decided to use 15. To put this in perspective, currently I am 5'10" and 186.4 pounds. So now take 186.4 and multiply this by 15. This gets us 2796, so about 2800 calories. This is not exact, but it gives us a starting point that we can work with. Next, subtract 400 to 500 calories from this number to find out how many calories we can eat per day in week 1. I believe a slow and steady approach is best, so I decided to start off with 400. I downloaded the app MyFitnessPal to get a rough idea of what 2400 calories actually looks like. A typical day of my eating schedule looks something like this. In the morning I skip breakfast and only consume water and black coffee. This is basically the intermittent fasting approach. Around noon I'll break my fast and I'll eat a Quest protein bar. This is roughly 200 calories. At 2 p.m. I'll have a 500 calorie lunch. This is usually comprised of healthy lean meats with some sort of salad or vegetables. At 6 p.m. I'll have dinner. This is usually a 1500 calorie dinner and I eat to fullness and satisfaction. This is a huge meal, but basically I keep this open to give me flexibility to basically eat whatever I want. At 8 p.m. I'll have protein powder or some type of fruit with whatever calories are left. I enjoy eating something sweet at the end of the night before I go to bed. I found that saving the majority of my calories for later in the day was a blessing. This provided me with enough flexibility to eat whatever I wanted for dinner. Even with the worst case scenario of going to, say, McDonald's or having pizza, I could easily fit that into 1500 calories. This approach is what made dieting very simple and enjoyable for me. Obviously, not all people are created equal, so you might have to play around with these numbers and find out what works for you. Step 2. Adjustments. At a certain point, your body will begin to acclimate to your reduced caloric intake. In order to stay in a deficit, you'll need to implement a gradual reduction in calories as the weeks go on. Naturally, your body does not want to lose fat and it will fight you, so make the necessary adjustments to fight back. Also, you need to maintain your level of intensity at the gym. Motivation is fleeting. The energy and enthusiasm you had in week 1 can quickly dissipate over time. Be prepared for this and don't let it throw you off track. But what about cardio? I purposely left cardio out of my routine for the first few weeks of the cut. Basically, I view cardio as a tool I can use to further extenuate the fat loss process. The latter half of the cut is going to be much more difficult than the beginning. For this reason, I decided to integrate cardio only when I feel like the caloric deficit from food alone wasn't enough. Step 3. Maintain consistency. I'll admit the road to your goal body can be very boring and meticulous. However, as long as you stay consistent, a caloric deficit must get paid off at some point. I hear many people complain that they are doing everything right but can't see any results. These people are missing the big picture. You won't look fat and weak from week 1 to 13 and then magically wake up on week 14 and achieve your goal physique. No, it doesn't work like that. The body takes time to change and you will gradually look better week by week. Just stay consistent and you'll get there. Now it's time for the transformation. Alright guys, so let's take a look at my progress. We got week 0 picture right here, starting point. We got the super, oh my god, we got the super uber dad bod going on. We got no muscle development in shoulders at all. Pecs look flat, got a huge gut, abs are invisible. Got even love handles around the sides, and looking pretty pale, so pretty bad starting position, and I was 186.4. Alright guys, time for week 1. Average weight for the week was 184.6. Macros were at, again, 2,400 calories, 275 grams of carbs, 65 fat, and 180 grams of protein. That is an average weight loss of 1.8 pounds for the week. Pictures looking pretty much the same. Still got the uber dad bod going on, big love handles, no muscle development. Alright, so week 2, average weigh-in 182.8. We kept macros exactly the same, 275 carbs, 65 fat, 180 protein. Again, 2,400 calories. Now that's an average weight loss of, again, 1.8 pounds, which is really good. A lot of that is probably water weight. You lose a lot of that at the beginning. It's not exactly accurate. Progress picture, again, not too much change. The belly has gone down a little bit, but again, still no real muscle development. Alright, so week 3, the average weigh-in was 179.7. Again, we kept macros exact same at 2,400 calories. We had a huge weight loss this week. We lost an average of 3.1 pounds. Progress pictures, again, a little bit of change around the midsection, not too much. For this week, a big reason why my weight dropped so much was I ended up getting sick one of these days. And for about 2 days, I didn't really eat much, so I had my calories were way low for this week. So, so the 3.1 pounds loss is not ideal, but we should adjust. Our body will adjust for that later. All right, so week 4, average weigh-in was 179.6, which was average weight loss of 0.1. Also, again, we kept macros the same. So this is like what I said from the previous week. We were sick in week 3 and we lost about 3.1 pounds. So if you add up the total, which is 3.2 between the 2 weeks, and divide it, it's about 1.5 pounds for each week, which is about right. All right, week 5, average weigh-in was 179.1. Again, macro is the same, 275 carbs, 65 fat, 180 protein, 2,400 calories. It's getting really redundant and boring, saying the same thing over and over, the same macros. But the thing is, you want to diet on as much calories as possible, and the weight has slowly been decreasing week by week. So you kind of want to ride it out and just keep calories the same and don't change too much. But eventually we'll have to lower it, but we'll do that later. Week 6, average weigh-in was 178.1, and this was the first week where we actually dropped macros. We dropped carbs by 15 down to 260. We dropped fat by 5 from 65 to 60, and we kept protein the same at 180. So that's about 2,300 calories for the week. We were dieting on 2,400 calories pretty consistently for 5 weeks straight, and we had like a reoccurring weight loss, but it started to stall a little bit. It was a little bit lower than I wanted, so now it's time to eventually drop macros. Progress pictures up, looking a little bit better, slowly getting a bit leaner in. Stomach is getting there. The chest is starting to develop a little bit. Shoulders still not really there. Week 7, average weigh-in was 177.5. We kept macros the same as the previous week, which was 2,300 calories, and we added in 1 cardio session for this week. Also, week 7 was significant because this is basically the midway point of the cut. So what I did for week 7 was I added a deload week for my workouts. So what that means is the first 6 weeks of my cut, I've been working out pretty hard, progressing in the gym, but eventually your fatigue is going to catch up to you. So for week 7, I only did like about 2 gym sessions, and I lifted about like half as much reps and half as much weight as normal. This gives your body a chance to recuperate and recover, and you're going to need to give your body a break at some point. You can't keep progressively lifting more and more weight every single week. You know, eventually your body will need a break. All right, week 8, average weigh-in was 175.9. This was second time we dropped macros. We went with 235 carbs, 60 fat, and 180 grams of protein. for about 2,200 calories. I kept fats and proteins the same for this week and took the cut out of carbohydrates. What is this, week 8? So we lost about 1.6 pounds, so around a pound and a half, so that's pretty good. Progress picture again, seeing slow changes. We're slowly getting there. Still not too much definition on my upper body, but my stomach is finally starting to lean out. You see some visible ab lines, and we're pretty much getting there. All right, week 9, average weigh-in for the week was 173.7. We kept macros the same at 2,200 calories, but we added a second cardio session. Average weight loss for this week was huge. It was 2.2 pounds, mostly due to the added cardio session. Also, around this time, the NBA playoffs were going on. This is where my diet kind of really went to shit. Almost every other day, there's some big games on. People are coming over, eating all kinds of like junk food, pizza, wings, like fried chicken, just terrible stuff. So from week 9 onwards, the dieting was getting kind of tough because of all the social gatherings. Progress picture, again, not too much difference from week 8, about the same, slowly getting leaner, but not seeing too much changes. All right, week 10, average weigh-in was 172.9. That's an average weight loss of 0.8 pounds. We dropped macros again to 2,100 calories. That's 220 grams of carbs, 55 fat, 180 grams of protein. Progress pictures, getting leaner, starting to finally really lean out as the weight is getting closer to the 160s. In terms of our activity, it was off the chain. We finally cracked over 100,000 steps for a week. We had 101,000 steps, 160 floors, and 46 miles. So around this point, we're getting close to the end. We're getting to the nitty gritty, and you really got to push yourself in these last couple of weeks to hit your goals. Week 11, average weigh-in was 171.0. Kept macros the same as the previous week, 2,100 calories, but added in a third cardio session. Average weight loss for the week was 1.9 pounds, which is pretty good. Progress picture, again, looking pretty similar as the last week. Seeing a little bit of leanness overall, like, almost there. It's not too bad. And in terms of our activity, again, we were great this week. 106,000 steps, 133 floors, 48 miles. So far, so good, as we got a couple more weeks to go. To week 12, average weigh-in was 169.6. So we finally cracked the 160s. We dropped calories down to 2,000, 195 carbs, 55 fat, 180 proteins. That was an average weight loss of 1.4 for the week. In terms of activity, we had 104,000 steps. We cracked 100K again, 158 floors, and 47 miles. All right, week 13, average weigh-in was 167.9. Kept macros the same as the previous week, 2,000 calories. We changed up the 3 cardio sessions to 2 cardio and 1 HIT, high intensity interval training, just to mix it up a bit. Average weight loss for the week was 1.7 pounds. Now, progress pictures, finally the cuts are coming out and looking a lot more defined. Been losing like body fat generally like all over the place, but now it's starting to come together, looking a lot better. In terms of activity, again, we cracked 100,000 steps for the week, which is great. Let's see, 103,000 steps for the week, 139 floors, 46 miles. So one more week to go. All right, week 14, we made it. Average weigh-in was 166.2. We had to drop calories down to 1,900 this week. I didn't really want to do this, but my body was really fighting me to lose these last couple pounds of fat. And I really wanted to hit my 20-pound loss mark that I set out from the beginning. So macros were 180 carbs, 50 fat, 180 proteins with 3 cardio sessions. Average weight loss for the week was 1.7 pounds. Progress picture looking pretty good. Finally leaned out. All the strength training in the gym finally showing in my shoulders, seeing some definition. Pecs looking good. Abs are slowly still coming in. They could always still use some work, but overall really happy of where I got to in these 14 weeks. Activity was a bit low at the end, because like I was dying at the end of the, like, no joke, the end of week 14 was getting kind of rough. The cardio sessions were not fun at all, so only had about 89,000 steps, 138 floors, and 40 miles. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you compare each week's photos, you don't see too much of a difference, but just have faith in the process and stay consistent. And you are losing fat in areas of your body. Sometimes they're not in areas that you would like, but you can't really control that. You can just kind of like maintain the course, and eventually you're gonna get there. Now, if you compare the week 0 picture to the week 14, it's like pretty huge difference. We got a lot of muscle definition going on. The big Uber dad bod is officially gone. Due to the summer, I was able to go outside a lot, so we got like a little bit of a tan. Week 0, we looked pale as a ghost. It was pretty bad. In week 14, we came out looking a lot leaner with some muscle definition and more color. So overall, it was really enjoyable, and I'm super happy with the results. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That was my 20-pound weight loss challenge completed in 14 weeks. Hopefully you found something useful from this video. Maybe you could use some of the tips and tricks to start a weight loss challenge of your own. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. If not, leave a comment, let me know what I could do better. Next week I'll go into more detail in regards to the types of food I was eating. I didn't get enough time to tackle that subject. The specific calories and proteins and the types of foods I was eating on a daily basis to get there. So till next time, we'll do that. So for now, stay consistent, be cool, peace.